Hi guys, good morning. There is some issue with my audio system. That's why I took some time. Sorry for the delay. Are you able to hear me? Yeah. Okay, then we will start. Yes, in last class we have been talking about EBS, right? We have created a EBS volume and we have also seen how to mount it on our Linux EC2. So let me check. So, yeah. I have shared this Word document with you. Have you guys tried with Windows? Yes, successful. Any issues, guys? Windows is actually simple because you have that GUI, graphical user interface. You can follow the document and do it. Okay, let me go to my console. Yes, here we are. EC2 is there. And yesterday we are at this section, volumes. We have created one volume, named it as extra volume, and mounted it on our Linux EC2. And in the same way, you can also mount it on Windows EC2. Here you have to create volume and attach your volume with the instances. You can see in the options, you can modify your volume, that means increase or decrease size, and you can delete, attach, detach volume. So these options we know now what attach volume, detach volume, all these mean. And force detach means is sometimes if volume is attached to Linux or any EC2 instance, maybe it is in use, but you don't know how it is getting used. Suppose, especially in Linux, it says that this volume is in use, it's unable to detach from the Linux, but you want that volume to get deleted. You don't want that volume with your EC2 instance. In such scenarios, you can force to detach your volume. Change auto enable IO settings. We also know what IO settings, IOPS we talked about. If you want provisioned IOPS, don't if you are not happy with the default IOPS, you can provision your own IOPS, input or output processing per second. And tags we know. And we have some other options, snapshot life cycle policy, all these things. Let us talk about those things today. And any doubts with volumes, guys? Mounting volume on instances, both Linux and Windows. Clear? Okay. Then we have something called as snapshots. I have all these snapshots. Let me delete these snapshots. So some snapshots are created by policy. Uh, I think I have kept my lifecycle manager. I didn't deleted it. Now I realize this. Okay, delete policy. So I'll do it later. Anyway, we are going to talk about lifecycle policy. Let us create one snapshot. What is this snapshot? Snapshot is copy of your volume. You can also take copy of your instance. What is instance? Instance is nothing but your computer, right? If you want to take backup of your computer, what will you take? obviously the hard disk. And snapshots means taking a copy. Why we need to copy? Suppose you are developing a web application, and what is the procedure? You should launch your instance first, and you have to add rules, HTTP rule and other rules, whatever rules are necessary for the web server. You'll you will add them in your security group, and then you will install your microservices, like HTTPD. We have installed that simple service. In real time scenarios, what are the necessary microservices? You install them on your instance. It can be Linux or Windows, whatever it is. Then your instance will become web server, and after that you start writing your website scripts and HTML pages and other things what are necessary for your web page or web application. And once everything is done, you test your server and you launch in your production environment. And you do it in one or two EC2 instances. And if they are ready, they are bug free, you have to scale them up, right? That's the procedure. People in production environment, don't keep just one or two servers. Obviously there will be more servers, 10, 20, 30 servers will be running. Then what about that rest of servers? Do you need to start them from scratch? That means again starting EC2 instance, launching it, installing your microservices, and then copy or again do the scripting, HTML pages. Do you need to do everything from scratch for every server? No. You have option of taking copy. Yes, you can take copy of your volumes as well as instances. That is snapshots. And after some time, you decided to expand your business, your organization. They decided to expand their business, and initially they have started their web servers in Mumbai, and now they want to launch their servers in other regions, say for example Singapore or Sydney, any other region. Why? Because customers from that region are increasing day by day, or your organization decided to set up headquarters there. So they want servers running in that region also. Then how will you do? Because if I see I have these instances here, and instances, EC2 instances and services related to EC2 instances are region specific. I have deployed them in Mumbai region. If I switch my region to say Singapore, my servers are not there. Of course, they are globally available because they are servers, and any client device from any part of the world can send a request to the server, and it will respond back. But they are located in Mumbai. And now your organization wants servers in Singapore region also, with little bit changes in the web server. Then you have an option of copying from your Mumbai region to Singapore region. Let me go to instance, but how? I don't have any option in my actions like copy. There is no option of taking a copy instance directly. And same with my volumes also. Extra volume actions, there is no option to copy, directly copy. You have to create a snapshot. You have to create a copy of it, and that is called a snapshot. And you can copy that snapshot. You can move that snapshot from one region to another region. Snapshot is also EBS volume. You can call it as movable EBS volume. Your volume, you cannot move it, you cannot switch between the regions. Whereas snapshot is copy of your EBS volume, which is a movable one. Let us create one snapshot. Create snapshot. It asks you, do you want to take a snap of volume or instance? Volume means disk, your hard disk. Instance means the processor. Processor means what? Root volume also. Root volume plus extra volumes. Whatever volumes are attached to your instance, all those things will be copied. A copy of them will be taken. If you choose only volume, a particular volume, EBS volume, will be copied, a copy of it. So let us take snapshot of volume first. Volume. I want this extra volume. Suppose this is EC2 instance related to some telecom company, and their headquarters is in Singapore, say for example, and they have servers in other regions also. And these servers has customer data and people who are visiting their web page, all these details. Actually there are web servers, and there is one particular volume which has customer queries saved in it. And for once in a year or once in a 6 months, people in Mumbai region and other regions has to send this data to Singapore, where headquarters is there, headquarters and the servers are there. So there what they will do is they'll keep all these customer queries in one volume. Let's say that volume is extra volume. This extra volume has that information, and now they want to move this volume from this region to Singapore region. Let's say description, it has customer data or customer queries, whatever it is. Do you want to encrypt? You can, and create snapshot. See, snapshot is getting created, customer data. And similarly, you can also take copy of your instance. Then your root volume and the extra volumes will be copied. Suppose if I go to my instance, this instance, let me start it, instance state, start instance. So storage, see it has two devices attached to it. One is root volume and one is extra volume. Now if I take copy of this instance, both of these will be taken as a snapshot. Let us go back to snapshot and check. Yes, a snapshot is created. Status you can see completed. Now let us copy it. Actions, copy. It asks what is the destination region. Let's say Singapore is our destination region. If you want to encrypt this snapshot, you can do now. Copy, close, Singapore region. Snapshot is getting copied here. Now you can Convert this snapshot into your EBS volume. Go to volumes, create a volume. And here we have this option snapshot ID. If you want to copy the contents in that snapshot into this volume, you can do that. You have to give the snapshot ID. All these are snapshots related to your AMIs. So after this snapshot is ready, just give a name so that you can easily identify it. Name, say copy. This is the name. And you can create volume. 1 GB is enough because my snapshot is also of 1 GB size. And snapshot ID. We'll do one thing. Copy the ID of snapshot. This copy is different. It starts with 0EF95. Snapshot is completed. We should get this. And my ID is 0EF951. Or you have a direct option of converting it into volume. Let's go to snapshot, actions, create volume. So here itself you can create a volume, right? So this is your snapshot ID, size 1. At least why it's going to minus, let's say 8. Okay. And you can create volume. And now you can launch your instance by attaching this volume. Suppose I create this volume with this content snapshot ID. It's automatically converting to -1. I don't know why. 4 GB. Okay. Create volume, right? My volume is ready. Now I can delete my snapshot. Why? Because snapshot cost is more compared with your EBS. They are movable EBS copies. That's why normal EBS charge is not billed for snapshots. So delete your snapshot. My volume is getting ready, available. I'll delete my snapshot. And then I can launch instance. Select, and here I can add that extra additional volume. And what I can do, after launching, I can mount that volume. We already discussed how to mount the volume, right? So we can also do that. So add new volume. Here also, you can give your snapshot ID. This is another way of adding your volume. Create a snapshot, and you can copy the contents from snapshot into EBS. Clear, guys? Any doubts? That is about snapshots. Volumes. Let me delete this volume. Go back to Mumbai region. And then we have something called as AMI. We already know what AMIs mean. Amazon Machine Image. And using that image, you can boot your instance, virtual machine. So they have operating systems, customized operating systems with necessary applications and softwares installed in it, in some AMIs. And we also talked about different types of AMIs. You can create your own AMI also. Let me delete this AMI. You cannot delete your AMI. You deregister. I have deregistered my AMI. AMI is bootable copy. So we have talked about this scenario. If your organization want to expand its business, it's trying to set up servers in Singapore also, and more or less that servers are same like your Mumbai servers with little bit of changes. Then you can copy your server in Mumbai region to Singapore region and can make those changes there. So instead of taking snap of your instance and creating instance there, you can take AMI. That means a bootable copy of your instance. We know snapshot. Snapshot is taking a copy of your volume or instance, but it's not bootable one. With one snapshot, you cannot boot your instances. Suppose I want to launch 10 instances at a time, 10 servers at a time in Singapore region. I cannot do that with a snapshot, instant snapshot. It's just a copy. You can transfer contents from your snapshot to volumes. You can do that. But if your requirement is as such, if you want to launch 10 servers, which should have all the files that are there in your Mumbai's instance, like same as like your Mumbai servers, you will not be able to do with snapshot. And that's why AMI is there, which is a bootable copy. And we have not seen the delete option here, right? You can only deregister. Why? Because AMI means nothing. It's a virtual thing attached to snapshots. Actual data will be in your snapshot, and you are making your snapshot a bootable one by attaching to a virtual thing called as AMI. And using this AMI image, you are attaching some image to your snapshot. By attaching that image, it has become a bootable one. Let us create one AMI. I'll go here. I have this instance. Let us call it as Linux server. These are details of my instance. Security. It has all these rules: TCP rule, and this rule, and some other rule which is called as NFS rule. We will talk about that later. But let's see, security group has all these things. 80, 22. 80 means this is HTTP rule, this is SSH rule, and this is NFS rule. And look into storage. Two volumes are attached to this instance. One is root volume and another one is extra volume. Networking and other things. Suppose, let's say this is the server which I want uh, to move to Singapore region, and I want to launch another 10 servers in Singapore region as is like this server. Then I'll take AMI. How? Go to instance. You can do it here itself. Actions, easy to image builder. You can create your own image also. No, there is register new AMI. Here it is. From here, you can register a new AMI, or you can go to instance, select the instance, and actions. You have image and templates here, right? Go here and create image. You can also do this, or directly go to AMI and register new AMI. Create image. Image name, say copy of Linux server. Let's say AMI. It's not just a copy, it's bootable copy, AMI. And if you want to give any description, you can mention here. No reboot option is there. What is this no reboot? Now you are taking copy of your instance, AMI of your instance. How you want to do that? And AWS, if you don't enable this, reboot your instance and it will take that image copy. Suppose you don't want that. Why? You want your server to be running. Maybe it is in production environment. You don't want your production to get stopped because clients will experience that downtime. In such scenarios, you can enable this. Without rebooting your instance, AWS will take AMI. And then volume types, there are two volumes. It's asking, do you want that extra volume also? Yes, we want extra volume also in our AMI. If you want to skip, sorry, this is delete on termination. If you want to skip, you can remove. If you want, when you delete your instance, if you want this volume also to get deleted, then enable it, delete on termination. Rest of things, IOPS, throughput, all these things. AMI of Linux server, right? No reboot. Let's enable this. Tags optional. That's it. Create. Create image. Clear, guys? Any doubts? Let's create image. Okay, and you can see image is getting created. And with this snapshot also. Two more snapshots, this and this. 8 GB is root volume and 1 GB is extra volume. And if you look here, this is created by image, and this is also getting created by image, and this is ID, your AMI ID. Your AMI is a virtual image attached to these snapshots. Independent snapshots are not bootable ones. Of course, you can copy them and also transfer contents of your snapshot into volumes, but you cannot launch instance. That means bootable. It's not bootable one. By attaching this AMI with the snapshots, your snapshots along with this image, we call it as AMI, and it's your own AMI. It's nothing but bootable copy of your instance. Now this AMI contains all your server-side scripts, all your installations, all your data. It comes with attached volumes, everything. It has your OS details. It's simply a replica of your instance. And using this replica image, you can launch many more servers. Of this. And actions, you can copy your AMI from one region to another region. Let's copy our AMI to Singapore. Copy AMI. Done. AMI, and also you can see snapshots. Those two snapshots are getting created. Why? I have two volumes in my instance. That's why two snapshots. Let's go to snapshots and check here. One has been completed. Root volume snapshot still in pending status. It's taking so much time. Okay, let's go to Mumbai region. We have our copy ready there, AMI ready. So let's go to Mumbai and try to use that AMI. And I have this EMI here. Now I'll launch instance. Now I'm not going with this. I'll go to my AMI. I have this. Select this. Next, configure instance details. Number of instances 1 and other things. Add storage. See that 1 GB extra volume came by default here. So delete on termination. Next, add tags. Next, security group. Security group will not come. Security group, you have to add rules and review and launch. Launch your instance. So this instance, whatever is there in this Linux server instance, the volumes, the installations, data, everything that will be there in this instance, which I have created using AMI, Linux server AMI. Clear? Any doubts related to AMIs and snapshots? And now if I want same kind of server in other region, I can copy AMI to other region and can launch servers there. Clear? Okay, and let me go to Singapore region and delete AMI there. So now it's available anyway. Deregister, continue, and then snapshot. When you are deleting your AMIs, you have to be careful. Deleting AMI means you are uh, deregistering that AMI, that image, a virtual thing attached with your snapshot. And your snapshots will be as is. Snapshots created by AMI will be like that only. You should deregister your AMI and then go to snapshots and delete them. Yes, delete. So we'll go back to our Mumbai region. Let's launch in instances. This is running. Let's say connect. Say LSBLK. See mount point, that extra volume is also has been mounted. Yesterday we have done this. We have mounted extra volume on that instance. which I took AMI, and also on every reboot, we want this. So we have made an entry also in FS tab file. And now you can see this is my newly created instance, a new instance, and here I have that extra volume and already mounted. Why? Because it's a booted from AMI, Linux server AMI. And this is one thing, and also HTTPD is there in that server. I'll say service start HTTPD. Okay, service HTTPD start. See, it's there. I have not installed HTTPD. And also the index.html page will also be there. Copy this public IP. As index.html. So this has to come here. Why it's taking time? Status checks has also done. Let's try to copy. I think we cannot copy from here. Say connect. Public DNS. Okay, sorry, I have not added HTTP rule because it's just demo of showing you how you can create instance AMI. So I have not used that HTTP rule. That's why we are not getting this. Otherwise, that index.html page will come there. And yeah, I don't need this EC2, so let me delete. Terminate instance. Let us keep this AMI. We need this AMI when talking about auto scaling groups. So let us keep this AMI like that only. I'm not deleting this. And then one more thing we have to talk about. Let me go to launch instance. And in step 3, so let me select the instance first. Select. Next, configure instance details. So step 3, we talked about all these options. And we have something called as placement group here. And this placement group, especially when you are launching more instances, suppose you want to launch 7, 8, or 10 instances, let's say 7. You are launching 7 instances at a time. Then you have an option on to decide how to arrange these instances on AWS side. That is called as placement group. The name itself explains placement, how you want to place your instances. Let's say add instance placement group. You may want to consider launching these instances into auto scaling group. No, not now. See, when I enable this placement group, it has expanded. And add to existing placement group, I don't have any placement group, so I have to create a new placement group. Just give a name, demo placement. And what is your placement group strategy? How you want to place? Do you want to place these instances, 7 instances, in a cluster or spread or partition type? What does they mean? Let me go to this presentation. Placement groups. These are the options: cluster, spread, partition, right? These things are there in the drop down also. Cluster. Cluster means you are getting pack of EC2 instances, and all these EC2 instances will be in the same availability zone and also in the same hardware. Underlying hardware rack is also same hardware means hardwares are arranged in racks. All these 7 EC2 instances will be placed in the same rack of hardware and also in the same availability zone. Why we need this? When you want your say web application highly available one, and you want to decrease your latency, but still the EC2 instance type which you are using is small micro, this thing you are not using XL or double XL, those kind of instances. If you go and check instance type, step 2, right? Suppose I am launching T2.micro and my network performance for T2.micro is low to moderate. Whereas if I go to T2.xl, I'll get moderate network performance from AWS side. And if I launch T3.nano up to 5 gigabits. And also I'll get EBS optimized, means high speed EBS, we can say. Compared with these EBS, the processing and processor and EBS communication speed will be high. And EBS optimized things are available here. Those kind of EBS are available for these type of instances, but they are expensive. So I don't want to go with them. So I am launching T2.micro only. And as a solution architect, this is a job role. I want to optimize the cost, and at the same time, I should also make this application available and redundant as well. So forget about redundant. My company is not so particular about redundancy, but they want this to be cost effective and at the same time highly available. My manager asked me uh, these things. So how can you increase speed, but instance type has to be the same, because the other instances are expensive compared with this. Instance type has to be the same, but uh, come up with a solution where you can increase speed. Then I know that, let me go back, when my instances are placed in the same rack, then suppose these 2 instances are my front end and these 3 instances are back end. These are application servers, these are database servers. Suppose if my application server is in 1A availability zone, database server is in 1B or 1C availability zone, obviously it will take some time for your application to reach database, all these things. So what I can do is I can place all of those EC2 instances in the same rack, same availability zone. When they are in same hardware rack, obviously communication between these EC2 instances is fast comparatively. Then I can improve network performance, and also I am using T2.micro instance type only. So when you want your instances to be in one place, they have to be together. Cluster is the option. They will be in the same availability zone, and also within that availability zone in the same hardware rack. That is cluster. And then we have spread. Spread placement group is opposite of your cluster. Your manager asked you to make this application highly redundant. Suppose server 1 fails, other servers has to be active. Your application should not experience downtime at any point of time. It has to be highly redundant and fault tolerant. In such scenarios, to secure your application from threats, maybe network issues, maintenance issues, upgradation, these things will be there. Even AWS upgrades their hardware, maintain their hardware. Keeping all this in mind, so you are launching all those 7 instances using spread placement group. So here there are 6 EC2s, and these 6 EC2s are spreaded across 3 availability zones. In 1A we have 2 EC2, 1B have 2, and 1C has and 2. And if I have 7 or 8, you might have one more EC2 in 1A or 1B. And also within that availability zone, these EC2 instances will not be under same rack. Underlying hardware is also different. This is, say, hardware rack number 1, and the other instance uses different hardware. Suppose if any issue with the hardware, then both of my instances will fail, and I don't want that. Redundancy is my main agenda here. So I'll launch one instance in hardware number 1 rack, other instance in a different rack. And also these instances are spreaded across the availability zones. We have 3, so they are spreaded across 3 availability zones. This is spread placement group. And then we have partition placement group. This is mix of cluster and spread. It uses partition. All your instances will be in the same availability zone. Suppose you are choosing 1A, 1A will be the availability zone. And here it will make partitions. Partition 1, partition 2, partition 3, and distribute your EC2 instances in those partitions. Hardware used is different, maybe same or maybe different. If EC2 instance is in the same partition, that means same underlying hardware. Suppose there are 6 EC2 instances, you can create 3 partition in this availability zone. And partitions means each partition is created in a different hardware. So 2 EC2 instances will be in your partition 1, and 2 in partition 2, and 2 in other partition 3. Suppose if there is any issue with partition 1, you have partition 2 and 3 available. And also you are not going with different availability zones. You are placing them under one availability zone only. That is partition placement group. Clear? Any doubts? Placement groups. If you want to test this placement group cluster, anyway you cannot see any difference, because all of them will be launched in one availability zone. Partition also you cannot see any difference. Why? Because they will be in the same availability zone. Spread you can see. Suppose you are launching 6 instances, at a time using spread placement group, then you can see these instances. Some will be using 1A, some will be using 1B. So you can see difference when you launch instances in under this placement group. Let's go here, configure instance. I'm launching 7 instances. I want placement group. If it is cluster, means all the 7 will be in the same availability zone and in the same hardware rack. If it is spread, and there is a warning, you can launch up to 7 more instances into this placement group. Spread placement groups can have up to 7 running instances per availability zone, and this is per availability zone. You can see these 7 instances, they will be in this availability zone only, and you can have up to 7 more instances into this placement group. Okay, not more than 7. You can see these will be launched in different availability zones, spread and partition. So here it asks how many partition you want. Suppose say 6 are there, I'll create 3 partitions, and max you can have up to 7 partitions, not more than that. Do you want to target partition? Do you want to target in 1, 2 or 3, or leave it for auto distribution? If you are particular about the partition, go and select which partition you want these EC2 instances to be placed, or go with auto distribution option. And create. Clear about placement groups? Let us go back. That's about placement groups. And then we have here something called lifecycle manager, also called as data lifecycle manager. And this is helpful. Suppose you are making changes to your application, and every time when a change is made, then you have to take AMI of it. Right. So if you want to launch more servers with the same change, then you have to take AMI of it, and then you will be able to launch instances with the changes done. So instead of this, you can take backup of your instances and also volumes using Lifecycle Manager. You can automate the process of taking backup simply. Create lifecycle policy. It asks you EBS snapshot policy, or you want this one EBS backed AMI policy. We know difference between these two by this time. Snapshot means just you'll get copies. AMIs means you'll get bootable copies of your instances. Cross account copy event policy. If you want to take a copy of instances in your friend's account, you have to go for cross account copy event policy. Let's go with volume for now. Volume. A description you can provide, say this is test life cycle policy. And tags are important here. So we have skipped tags, especially, and also talking about tags, I told tags will be helpful when you are applying policies. So here tags are mandatory. You cannot skip this. Suppose if you want to take backup of your volume or instance, then while creating that volume or instance itself, there has to be tags. I think I have one volume which I tag is there. Tag key, let's say demo is, and value is life cycle. I have one volume with this tag, so I'm using this. and then I am role. So what is this I am role? We will talk about this when we are discussing about I am identity and access management. See here, we are automating the process of taking backups. Who is doing that? A service called as lifecycle policy is taking snapshots. And this role is like permission. Your lifecycle should have that permission to take snapshots, to take backups, and you have to assign that permission. You can create one role and choose that. See, in this drop down, these are all the roles. You can choose any one role, or you can go with default role. A new role will get created for you. So that is role. And policy, here you can mention details, how snapshot and when snapshot should be taken. Schedule name, you can give any name or leave like this only. Frequency, how often you want your instances to take backup of these instances. Suppose these instances are servers, how often you want to take a backup of your servers. Is it daily or weekly, monthly? So let's say monthly is enough. On which day? First, second, only fourth is there. So first, let's say every Sunday. And starting time, let us give any 12 a.m. And the retention. Retention type means you want to retain this life cycle policy. Yes, it takes backup. If it keeps on taking backups, those will pile up and you will end up, if you don't monitor it, um, if you don't looking on this life cycle policy and backups taken by it, they might pile up and you will end up paying bills for it, and you don't want that. So you are choosing a retention type. Let's go for count. When count reaches to maximum of 4, say for example, then your life cycle policy should stop taking backups. So that is retain. And also age. Based on the age also, that means when you are taking your backup. Based on that also, you can retain. Say interval unit. Retention period should be greater than 1 day, say 10 days. So after 10 days, we don't want that backup. Interval unit days, yes. Or you can just give a count. If maximum count reaches 4, then it has to stop taking up backups. Copy tags from source. If you want to tag to this policy, you can add tag. If you want to copy, you can copy from other sources. So all these things are there. Policy schedule 1, 2, 3, you can add. Just give me a minute, guys. sorry for that, guys. So this is our life cycle policy and create policy, and based on this time you will be able to see. No voice now? Now okay. Yeah, fine. Okay. So you can see snapshots getting created after this time, starting time which we have given. If you want to test it, you can give any time in another 5 minutes. Suppose let me give 8:30. After 8:30, if you check your dashboard, there will be snapshots. I'm not creating it because I already have one. State is enabled, and I'll go to snapshots, and all these snapshots are created by policy. See, created for policy, all are 1 GB. Created for policy, all these are 1 GB. And when you are creating your snapshot and AMIs, please go through the free limits. It's different for snapshots. Snapshots are also EBS volumes, but limits, pricing limits are different for snapshots. So go through free tier limits of snapshots once. And also when deleting your AMIs, be careful. And also lifecycle manager, don't leave it because it will keep on creating backups. So schedule one. Any doubts, guys? So today we have talked about AMIs, snapshots, lifecycle manager, and also about partition groups. And in tomorrow's class, we will discuss about these things, load balancer. So next class, we will try to do hands-on. This we will be doing hands-on. Okay, then that's for today. Any doubts? Till now, yesterday was not uploaded. Only yesterday's class, right? Yes, okay. Maybe it takes some time. They have to convert and upload. Let's wait for today. So if it is not uploaded and tomorrow also, then I will inform to the team. Okay, then see you tomorrow. Assignment date we will discuss. Assignments, submission date and all, we will discuss that in class only. Because assignments, after talking about uh, services like S3, I am, then we will go into assignments because you need to do all those things also. Say that assignments, EC2 is not itself enough for completing the assignment. So we will talk about assignments later. Okay. Okay, then see you tomorrow, guys. Have a good day. Bye bye.